Let's bring in Marcus Spears, the big swagoo, ESPN NFL analyst. And you can see him on NFL Live at 4 Eastern every weekday on the mothership. Good to have you back, Marcus. Could Russell Wilson have shaken off his coach when Nathaniel Hackett said, we're going to go for the field goal? Could Russ have said, no, I want to go for it?
DP, yeah, man, good to see you. Yeah, I think he's built the cachet to be able to do that, especially understanding that moment. Like, we can't say in one breath that Russell Wilson is one of the better fourth quarter quarterbacks in the league over the last 10 years, 8 years, and then also him not have – he just got – by the way, DP, he just got $250 million in a contract. So I'm sure Russell Wilson has more weight in the Denver franchise than his head coach at the moment, right? I think he could have. And look, I'm not going to blame Russell Wilson for not doing it. Obviously, you got a head coach and it's a title for a reason. But it's also, like, it is some blame to go around. Like, what other coach on the coaching staff didn't run over and say, hey, Nathaniel, like, let's take a timeout and at least think about what we're going to do. Or let's take a timeout. Let's kick the field goal. If we miss it, we still may have time to get the ball back because we'll have 2 timeouts left. It was a massive failure. And obviously we're going to give the brunt of it to the head coach because ultimately he has to make that decision and he's the offensive mind. But I think Russ had enough cachet and has enough stock in the NFL in his career and enough success to be like, man, I'm calling timeout. You just be mad at me Tuesday and Thursday and the rest of the week. But I'm going to try to give us the best chance to win. And maybe you aren't ready for this moment in your first NFL game coaching.
I just didn't know why you don't take a timeout to at least discuss it. Do we have a play that we really like? Has this worked? And then you can run the clock after that if you want to. But at least get down to a 40-yard field goal, not 64 on the road. Yes. That's what I don't understand.
DP, field goals over 60 yards since the 1960s. You know how many have been made? They're 2 of 41. Like 2 of 41. That is, in what world? And I get it that we got different type of kickers. They got bigger legs. We understand that guys can kick for distance. We've seen it. But those odds, as opposed to a 4th and 5 with a quarterback that has done this over 50 times since we've watched him play, it was mind-boggling, man. And look, everybody's reaction was Peyton's reaction. Like, all time out, man. Like, just settle yourself down. Not to mention,
there was the other thing that Peyton and Eli brought up, and that was they were getting out of the huddle with like 11 seconds to go. And the whole thing with the quarterback nowadays is I get to sort of survey the landscape. Well, I can survey with 16 or 17 or 15 seconds. 11, we start to get into, and I didn't understand that, coming from a veteran.
And we're not being harsh. We're not being harsh by this, DP, because look, every time in the NFL, when you make a statement like we have overreaction week 1, no, we're reacting to week 1. We'll react to week 2 when it happens. We'll react to the next good thing. We'll react to the next bad thing. And then that'll be a culmination of things that happen throughout the season. And that'll tell us where these teams are and why they are where they are. But this is not an overreaction to week 1. You're an NFL head coach. You've been given that title. You've seen enough games. You come from a family of coaches where they've been in these critical situations where you have to make a decision. And I'm not going to give Nathaniel Hackett a pass because it's his first game coaching. DP, everybody, they got Pee-wee coaches that would have called timeout in that situation.
Yeah.
They got guys, you don't have to, like, there is no rocket science element. There is no other thing that we can talk about. Well, maybe he was thinking this or maybe he was thinking that. If he was thinking that I'm going to bleed the clock to try to kick a 64-yard field goal, that's horrible coaching, is all it is. That's the answer.
If I had Justin Tucker, I'm fine with it. And if I'm in Denver, then I can at least go, okay, I understand this. It's a home field. It's at
Right.
elevation. I'm a little bit better. Not on the road trying to kick that field goal this is why I traded for Russell Wilson. Because
This exact reason.
if I had Drew Lock, then I do kick the field goal. I got
Yes.
Russell Wilson on 4th and 5. We're talking to the big swagoo, Marcus Spears. Okay. I don't know how well you know Jerry Jones, but you were a Cowboy at once. I'm wondering, can Jerry stand pat with Cooper Rush and not be tempted to go after Jimmy Garoppolo?
If you're trying to win, if you believe that you can win, you don't stand pat with Cooper Rush. But then there's an underlying issue. All off season, if you're a Super Bowl, let's put this in context. I was on Get Up this morning talking about this, and I'm so frustrated with the Cowboys because I spent all off season saying, why is nothing happening? The roster, honestly, DP, the roster wasn't good enough to win a championship before all of this happened.
Yep.
It wasn't. And I know people want to be optimistic about their teams. And, we talk about like the Jets had a good draft and the Lions are a team that's on the ascent. Realistically, they're not winning a Super Bowl. They're not good enough to win one. They don't have the roster yet to win one. Dallas didn't have the roster before Dak Prescott got hurt. So you now go into crisis management. You go into desperation. And now you're in a position where you got to go with Cooper Rush, with a team that doesn't have the requisite weapons at wide receiver, an offensive line that's young, that is the reason that your quarterback has to have thumb surgery, giving up 2 pressures back-to-back to Shaquille Barrett, which in turn is why Dak Prescott's thumb is broken. Like, I hate to sound so harsh on Tyler Smith, but that's the reality of it. That's football. Good offensive linemen, good tackles give up sacks. Sometimes their quarterbacks get hurt. But ultimately, that's the result of that. So now you got Cooper Rush, and everybody's talking about this favorable schedule. I want people to acknowledge that the Dallas Cowboys roster is not good. It's not good. It wasn't. And in context, what are we talking about? Are we talking about this team being a wild card? Are we talking about them winning 9 or 10 games to appease people, to make them think that going into 23-24 season, we can make a few moves and be a better team? They stood pat and did nothing. But going back to my point of what I was talking about on Get Up this morning, DP, let's go through the list of teams that's trying to win a Super Bowl. The Los Angeles Chargers went out and got Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson. They fortified a run defense, getting Sebastian Joseph-Day from the Los Angeles Rams. Because on the other side of the ball, they had Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, and Mike Williams. And they said to themselves as a front office, we can win a championship. Let's go do what it takes to win a championship. Devontae Adams wanted to go back and play with Derek Carr. Fine. But the Las Vegas Raiders had to go get Devontae Adams. They had to do it because they want to win a championship. The Buffalo Bills were 13 seconds away from going to the AFC Championship game. They said, we aren't good enough. We didn't close on Patrick Mahomes in the last 13 seconds. Let's go get Von Miller and let's try to win a championship. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, for the last 3 years or 2 years, however long Tom has been there, has made every roster decision to win a Super Bowl. They went and got Antonio Brown when nobody in the league thought he would come back after the Raiders debacle. This year, they go get Julio Jones. And everybody, Julio looked great to me, because what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are thinking is, if I can put Julio across from Mike Evans with Chris Godwin in the middle, I can have something without having to ask Julio to catch 100 balls on the season. Okay? The Los Angeles Rams, for the last 4 to 5 years, have mortgaged their future to win a Super Bowl. Guess what, DP? We do not care about that because they are the reigning, defending Super Bowl champions. They bought themselves. They've answered the question that every fan is going to have, maybe when a time comes that they're not doing well. They're going to say, well, we exhausted it all and we won a Super Bowl. All right, now we in rebuild mode. The Dallas Cowboys stood pat and did nothing. Oh, by the way, in their division, DP, the Philadelphia Eagles went and signed Bradbury because they needed a better secondary. They also went and signed A.J. Brown. And And Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones said verbatim, we like our guys. And they scored. They not only scored 3 points, they didn't get in the red zone in the game against Tampa. But hey, they want to win Super Bowls. It's the Dallas Cowboys. We gonna run this thing through Zeke Elliott. DP, if you were going to win a championship running the football, I'm so frustrated it's slipping my mind. Derrick Henry would have 3. The Tennessee Titans would have 3 Super Bowls if you could run your way to one. You know what happened when the Tennessee Titans went and took a lead against the Kansas City Chiefs a few years back in the playoffs? The Kansas City Chiefs had Patrick Mahomes. And they had weapons like Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. Oh, I didn't mention that the Miami Dolphins signed Tyreek Hill with a quarterback that ain't as good as Dak Prescott. You know why? Because they trying to win a championship. But I digress. I'm sorry, brother. I just had to get that off my.
Are you in a supply closet at ESPN?
I'm actually in the makeup room, the one that's not occupied.
So you're in.
I need to be in a closet praying. I need a prayer closet. Is what I need.
Do you ever want to hit somebody? Because you spent more than half your life hitting people. You don't get to anymore.
Not as much as I used to, but when I see things transpire in football games, I want to hit people, but now it's illegal, DP. So I have to channel that energy towards doing what we're doing right now and ranting and raving about the dumb things that happen.
But would you like to do what Leonard Fournette did to Micah Parsons?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. It's nothing better. It's nothing better to make another man know that you were there. Okay, DP. You remember, like, there was this company or whatever, wish you were here or something like that. Sometimes you have that feeling as a former football player where you just want to make people know that, yeah, I used to do this. I used to lock offensive linemen out and drag them to their knees and hit running backs and let them know that I was here. Yeah, I miss that, man. I just have nobody here to do that against anymore.
If Orlovsky walks in, wouldn't you love to pop him just once?
Yeah, but that, it's not that exciting because he was an easy sack when he was playing, so it ain't that exciting. But I do have times where I want to hit it.
I'm trying to think if Damian Woody came in.
Yeah, I don't want to hit Woody because both of our knees would fall out our leg.
Good to talk to you again, as always. Thanks for spending some time with us, and we'll be watching this afternoon, NFL Live at 4 Eastern.
Thank you, my brother. And I have to acknowledge that LSU helmet in the back. I love it. Keep it up.
All right, Marcus. Marcus Spears, NFL Live at 4 Eastern.